Speaker.
Scott Simpson.
Mr Speaker, this Employment Relations Protection of Young Workers Amendment Bill is an interesting bill, and it's interesting not so much because of its content but because of what it implies and what it says unspoken about where the minds and hearts of the Labour Party are at the moment. I am a new member in this House, and I came in at the same time as the member who has introduced this bill, Mr Tirakatne. And as a former speaker in this debate has said, he comes from a long line of superb heritage in this House, and for him to introduce this bill is sad. It's a sad thing that he should be, after his long lineage of history, to introduce a bill that is as shallow as this. Because he, I don't think, came to this House to unionise paperboys. Or maybe he did. Maybe he did. And that's perhaps what the game plan is. I think that this could be part of a cunning conspiracy on behalf of Labour to simply improve union membership. And union membership is really what all this is about. We're going to unionise the youth of the nation and try and brainwash them into that sort of thing that incurs. Now, I know that the member who introduced this bill, I know that he's an earnest, sincere and thoughtful member, and I know that his sponsorship of this bill is probably more by accident than by design, because I fear that probably his name was simply allocated to it by the party whips, and indeed what happened was that once it was drawn from the ballot, he did have to go and do some research, he did have to go and find out what it was all about. And so here we are, confronted with a member's bill in his name that stifles initiative, that stifles responsibility, that stifles entrepreneurism in our very young kids who actually should be at the very point that they are learning about the benefits of work, the benefits of a work ethic and the dignity of work and entrepreneurism and profit and business. Those are things that we should be encouraging, and here comes a bill from the Labour Party that wants to do away with that. Well, I say shame on the Labour Party for this. It's an undesirable relationship between the effort, between reward and effort that Labour want to somehow do away with. I can't understand that as a National Party member, because we're all about creating opportunities for young people to make their way in the world, to see what can be achieved by their hard work and their effort. Now, Mr Speaker, I have a confession to make. I am an employer, I guess, of a person under 16. He's a guy that comes in and he mows my lawn. I live in the very fine township of Thames in the Coromandel electorate, in the very fine township of Thames. It's the lawn that grows. Other grass grows, but grass in the lawn needs mowing. And so the grandson of my neighbour, negotiated with me a very fair price, a hard price, I might say, in fact a price that was higher than the commercial going rate, and he mows my lawn. Now, I want to know from this member, is he an employee or a contractor? Because I pay him a fair and reasonable rate to mow the lawn, and I don't know whether he in fact has other clients. He maybe has done a hard, sharp deal with some other neighbours of mine around the neighbourhood in Thames, and he's probably doing a very, very good job in mowing lots of lawns. And I would say that that's a good thing. That's a good thing that we should be encouraging in our young children. That's something that we should be encouraging the children of the nation to do, is to get off their chuffs and understand that with effort comes reward. And I think that's a very, very good thing. So what have we got here? We've got Labour that are against freedom, that are against enterprise and that are against initiative. This, Mr Speaker, is nothing more than a leap back into the 1970s and the 1960s unionism, and it's a desperate move on behalf of Labour to try and just improve union membership. The nature, Mr Speaker, of a job is determined by what the job is, not the age of the person doing the job. Mr Speaker, this is a better bill for being not supported, and I don't think we should. So I oppose it and do so very keenly oppose it.
Andrew Little.
Mr Speaker, it's a pleasure to speak in support of this very well drafted